Coming up next on Forbes.com Video Network, racing legend Sir Jackie Stewart on the state of Formula One in the United States. Will the appearance of the hot new American driver Scott Speed finally popularize F1 racing over here? More when we return.
We know what you expect from a luxury vehicle. Superior handling, engineering excellence, incomparable comfort and appointments that fit your personal style. Introducing ForbesAutos.com, a new website devoted exclusively to luxury vehicles. Visit ForbesAutos.com today for independent advice, research, reviews, decision guides, and dealer price information, all from an editorial resource you know and trust. ForbesAutos.com.
Hello again, I'm Forbes adventurer Jim Clash. Our special guest, Sir Jackie Stewart, is a true legend in every sense. Not only is he a three-time Formula One World Driving Champion, but a former CEO of Jaguar Racing and a former network sports commentator for ABC. The Scotsman is here today to discuss the state of F1 racing in America and his current work as a spokesperson for Royal Bank of Scotland. Jackie, Sir Jackie, thank you very much for coming on today. It's a pleasure and an honor.
Oh, my pleasure.
Of course, you're a three-time Formula One Grand Prix driving champion. You've kept involved. You were the, I guess, the chairman and president of Jaguar Racing for a long time?
Yes. When I retired from motor racing as a driver, I was only 34 years of age. I was just burned out and I was getting more aggravation than I was getting satisfaction. For a while, I just did the television. I had a long relationship with Ford, I had a long relationship with Goodyear, and I was with Rolex and 2 or 3 other major multinationals that I did globally. I then started a racing team up with my son, Paul Stewart Racing, in the formative classes of single-seater racing in Europe. And that developed into starting a Formula One team, which was called the Stewart Ford team, or Stewart Grand Prix was the name of the company. And we later sold that to Ford Motor Company, and then I became chairman and CEO of Jaguar Racing. That didn't last a great length of time because suddenly the group started to have financial concerns about the future, and they did a lot of cutbacks, and indeed in the end sold Jaguar Racing to Red Bull, who a young American, Scott Speed's currently driving for. So it's, you know, everything ties together quite well in our world.
Well, that brings us to this question. Of course, Formula One racing has never really caught on in America the way NASCAR has, or even IndyCar racing in the old days. And what does F1 need to do? Will it help now that we have Scott Speed, an aspiring American driver, back in the series? I know Bernie Ecclestone said something recently, we don't need America in Formula One. What are your thoughts?
Well, I disagree with that very strongly because the United States marketplace, Formula One is by far the largest capital investment sport in the world. Enormous sums of money go into it. Billions, absolutely billions. I mean, to run a Formula One team for the top teams, it's $200 to $300 million a year.
Wow.
Now, there's 10 or 12 teams in Formula One, but the television audience is the largest television sport in the world on an annual basis. The Summer Olympics are bigger and the Soccer World Cup's bigger, but they're only every 4 years. We by far have more multinational corporations in Formula One than any other sport, major investors in the sport. And they need the global marketplace. That's why I disagree with Bernie Ecclestone, because he says he doesn't need America. That's wrong, because if you look at Honda, Toyota, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Ferrari's biggest market in the world is the North American market. Never mind the Royal Bank of Scotland, major sponsors in Formula One, global bank, 5th largest bank in the world. They need America as part of their global activities.
I don't know if you've ever driven NASCAR, but what is the skill level versus a NASCAR driver versus an F1 driver?
You can't say that you have to be a better driver to be in Formula One or in NASCAR. You've got to be the best of your time within the sphere that you're participating in. Whether that's IndyCar driving with the Parnelli Joneses and the AJ Foyts of yesteryear, for example, or whether you talk about NASCAR stock car racing. So Formula One has its great drivers, whether it's Fangio or Jim Clark or Sterling Moss
or Mario Andretti.
Or Mario Andretti and Ayrton Senna, and today Alonso and Schumacher. They are no better than the best in NASCAR in their chosen fields.
Back when you raced, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems so much more dangerous. There were so many more injuries, fatalities. Nowadays when they race, the speeds are higher, but it seems safer. Talk a little bit about that. What's happened in the last 30 years?
Well, I happen to be one of the people who forced safety down the throats of track owners, car manufacturers, car builders. Medical facilities were pathetic. We were losing an immense number of drivers.
How many drivers per season?
Well, in 1 year, in fact, the batting average that you would be interested in, it from 68 to 73, which were my kind of big years. If you raced for those 5 years, you would have a 2 out of 3 chance of dying. It was becoming just a saga. It was like a general hospital, or it was a serial death program. We lost far too many people. So we had to change the tracks to make them safe, runoff areas,
right, sure.
Proper deformable structures to hit. We changed the cars, much safer. The driver's now in a cocoon of safety. The materials we wear for fireproofing and helmet protection and the hands device, which is an American invention to save neck and back injuries, all have changed it. The medical facilities at a Formula One Grand Prix track, I would suggest, are better than any university or general hospital in any city in the world for that weekend, because they are focused on the type of injuries we expect to be sustained and life-sustaining. So a lot of things have changed, and we are probably the best risk management business that I know, including financial services, aerospace, or anything else.
Jackie, thank you very much, Sir Jackie, for coming in today.
My pleasure, thank you.
Again, Sir Jackie Stewart. I'm Forbes adventurer Jim Clash. Check out my adventurer column in Forbes magazine or click on Forbes.com/adventurer. And thanks again for watching Forbes.com Video Network.